not bad for a human, but I think we'll not be able to hold a candle to AI. It's less of a worry than it used to be, mostly due to taking more of a fatalistic attitude. It's not necessarily bad. It's definitely going to be outside of human control. Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It's just outside of human control.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. A company is essentially a cybernetic collective of people and machines. That's what a company is. And then there's different levels of complexity in the way these companies are formed. Is there sort of like a collective AI in the Google search, where we're all sort of plugged in as like nodes on the network, like leaves on a big tree. We're all feeding this network without questions and answers. We're all collectively programming the AI. And Google, plus all the humans that connect to it, are one giant cybernetic collective. This is also true of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these social networks. They're giant cybernetic collectives. I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. It feels like we are the biological bootloader for AI. Effectively, we are building it. And then we're building progressively greater intelligence. The percentage of intelligence that is not human is increasing. And eventually, we will represent a very small percentage of intelligence. The AI is informed, strangely, by the human limbic system. It is our id writ large. All those things, the sort of primal drives, all the things that we like and hate and fear, they're all there on the internet. They're a projection of our limbic system. I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. Normally the way that regulations work is very slow. Very slow indeed. If you look at, say, automotive regulations, how long did it take for seatbelts to be required? The auto industry fought seatbelts, I think, for more than a decade. The numbers were extremely obvious. If you had a seatbelt on, you would be far less likely to die or be seriously injured. It was unequivocal. Eventually, after many people died, regulators insisted on seatbelts. This time frame is not relevant to AI. You can't take 10 years from the point at which it's dangerous. It's too late. It's too late.
Hello. We are
Hi.
live. Welcome everybody to the progress report. I am here with Sharika Soal. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you
Oh, and
did.
look who decided to show up. Hold on a sec. Okay, the gang is all here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, I'll finish introducing Sharika. Sharika is I'm saying that right? I'm definitely saying that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Sharika Soul.
Sharika is a TikToker with over 300,000 followers, and but I know you more from Twitter, where you're also very active and political and stuff like that. Kind of just down to earth, cool chick. So this is our first time talking, so it's really nice to have you here. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, the man who needs no introduction, the legend himself, Salty Cracker, is here. So much hype. We got the Salty Army in the chat here. I'm seeing the salt shakers. I'm seeing people say "re." How are you doing, sir? Thanks for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I'm doing all right.
Nice. All right. So the show is pretty straightforward. We're going to watch some video clips and then discuss them. If you have something you want to say, just start talking and I'll pause the video or wait till the clip is done. But don't feel like you have to have an opinion on every single thing. We are demonetized on YouTube. If people want to send us super chats, there's some links in the description for Streamlabs or Power Chat, or you can do it through the Rumble rants or on Odyssey. I think that's basically everything. Did you guys have anything you wanted to say before we get into it?
No, I'm ready. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you, Salty Cracker.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
Okay.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
Is nothing sacred anymore? Are we not allowed to have anything that is just sort of unashamedly masculine or blue collar or anything?
My favorite part is when that dude drinks that beer. Hey. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hello, fellow humans. I heard you like beer. What an idiot.
Yeah, you can tell Dylan's a big beer drinker for sure.
It's like
Check out my
he's worse than
Instagram story
Elizabeth Warren.
See how you
Dylan
can
looks
enjoy
like-
March Madness.
Go ahead.
Dylan has like a diet of meth, I'm pretty sure.
What, diet meth? What?
Yeah, diet meth. Dylan is on diet meth.
He's on the meth diet?
The delusion.
Just that. Jeez.
I'm a woman. And I mean, usually a trans woman has some type of curvage, some type of, look at her arms.
Yeah, he's not even trying.
You can say his here, whatever you want. Do you guys think, like, there's been people have really made fun of this a lot. Do you think Bud Light cares? Do you think there's any part of the company that is like, maybe we shouldn't have done this? Or do you think it's political or commercial, or what do you think about this? It seems political to me. It doesn't seem like a good business move.
I don't know. Maybe they think drag queens are, selling Bud Light at the local drag shop, party. I don't know. Honestly, I think all these companies are full of crap, I think they just got boomer brains and they don't really understand.
Yeah, maybe I'm too cynical, but it just feels like a humiliation ritual. Like it just feels like everything you love, we're going to tarnish, we're going to corrupt, your children, your beer, your sports, everything.
Well, there's an aspect of the marketing where this got more eyeballs. There's always going to be these people in that ad agency that says, eyeballs are eyeballs, so we don't care if they're hate watching, or Disney's constantly doing this. And in the short term, they're getting eyeballs. This has gotten more eyeballs than anything else that they've done with their stupid swill in modern times. And so there's definitely a contingent of these people who are like, well, listen, whether they hate or not, the conservatives will take this and they'll anger bait it for us, and we'll get millions and millions and millions of people to see this. Long term, that's a really horrible monetary strategy. And DC Drano was telling people today, if you notice, they didn't put this goofball on Bud Light's Instagram and Anheuser-Busch's social media pages. And so there might be a second press release from this corporation walking this all back, considering they're not going full tilt with it.
Yeah. Putting his face on the can, though, this is a pretty big move.
Yeah. With Bud Light, and maybe win some money, too.
Why do you think they're getting that kind of representation? I mean, it's clearly was aggressive violent assault.
You suck. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're not wanted. Fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking
I don't know
idiot.
what to say.
Fuck
I guess
you.
these police officers
Fuck
are mostly
you
indoctrinated as well.
Everyone here
They're afraid of the mob.
Because you're a fucking idiot.
I think they're afraid that if they do anything to actually keep law and order, that they'll end up being on the end of this verbal abuse. So it's just cowardice from everybody all around.
So this is in Canada. This is a guy, Billboard Chris, who has been like really trying to, spread awareness about the harmful effects of what they call gender affirming care for children, or, transing kids. And the trans people, they really don't like him. It was interesting when I was watching this clip, I was thinking like this person, this guy with the flag here, he looks so mad. If Billboard Chris just said something like, sir, would you mind backing up? Or you get assaulted for sure. But he ends up, if you guys haven't seen this video, getting assaulted without doing anything.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah.
People probably want to know, how do you keep your composure?
Fuck you.
What's that?
How do you keep your composure?
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
They're all upset. His sign merely says children cannot consent.
Fuck you.
This is how you know COVID is fake. They're like screaming in each other's faces.
Yeah. So his
Like
sign
the
says
blonde
children can't consent, which is a fairly non-controversial thing to say, you would think. But certain group of people who may or may not be pedophiles get really angry when you say children can't consent.
I definitely think the trans women that don't fully whatever, like, why are you a trans but you still have a beard? Like, I do think something's wrong with those type of trans. Like, either you're trans or you're a man trying to get into the ladies' restroom, whatever. Like, that's just my opinion. Like, I just don't understand when they look like that, how they're going to be accepted as women. Like, you're not really trying very hard and you sound like a dude. I thought when you take the hormones, you're supposed to have a more feminine, you know what I mean? Like, I can't take them seriously when they still have a beard and they sound like a man. That's just me though.
Yeah, I think some of them must look kind of off-putting intentionally, is what I think. I think they just kind of like making you uncomfortable, some of these people,
Yeah.
They must know they look unsettling.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Hey! Get the fucking
The cops all watched. Let that happen, by the way.
Just watch that guy work himself up to a frenzy. Yeah.
Yeah. Then one of the cops, when the guy, Billboard Chris, goes up to him at the end, he goes, I'd like to press charges. One of these cops, she looks at him. She goes, well, you totally incited that with your billboard, the billboard that says children can't consent. And yeah, I mean, that makes total sense in a world where all of these goofballs are pedophiles, because only they would be incited by a billboard that says children can't consent.
It's so insane. Canada is really, really far gone in some ways.
My My phone, my purse, my dog. Yes, yes.
It might seem like Canada is so far away and so far lost with all of this, but boy, California, New York, they're right. They're like 15 minutes away from being just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it today with the Trump stuff.
Yeah, there was the crazy, but that woman, that Savannah Hernandez. Did you guys see that clip? Mm-hmm. The black woman who had like white body paint everywhere.
Yeah. I was pretending to get beat up by the police. Yeah, I saw.
Rolled around on the ground. I'm a victim.
She looked like she was on shrooms. Like, what was going on? And I was like, girl.
Peyote.
Speaking of California, actually, I'm not sure where this is. This might be in Europe somewhere. This video, I don't even know what's going on in this video.
That's an ugly woman sport. I'm sorry. Like, you will never catch a good-looking woman crawling on her all floors at some protest, sweating and being stinky. Like, let these ugly women have it, because no, I'm sorry. That is definitely an ugly woman sport.
Please.
Okay. All right. This one's I got something to say about this one.
Please, Walter. Please.
So I'll just read what it says because I know it's kind of hard to see on the screen for people. It says, I was being stalked by my ex. She came over and did this. I can no longer sleep at night. I'm scared for my life.
Can you please stop acting like that?
I can't.
All right, calm down.
Please, Walter. Please, Wally, please.
By the way, I trimmed this clip down. The full clip was like a lot. Like, this goes on for quite a while. Now, okay, so here's my thoughts on this. I mean, first of all, obviously it's easy to make a lot of jokes here. You know, don't stick your dick in crazy. All the memes. Once you got and that's probably fair enough. But once you got that out of the way, like, I kind of felt bad for her because I kind of know what it's like when you're heartbroken to the point of like feeling like you're going crazy. And what made me think of when I was watching it was the shooting in Nashville that just happened with the trans person. I don't really see anybody saying this, but there was like some screenshots of some messages that came out that she had sent that to me read like she was like in love with this woman who she was messaging. And that it was kind of like, I'm doing this, you know, because and it made me wonder, like, I'm speculating here. I'm reading between the lines, but there's kind of like, you can see a picture that gets painted where a woman falls in love with another woman, that the woman she's in love with is like a Christian. She's not going to be a lesbian. So then the first woman becomes transgender, and then it still doesn't happen. And then she goes crazy and goes on a shooting spree. This is totally my headcanon. Like, they haven't released the manifesto or whatever, as far as I know. So I'm just like speculating on this, but the point is the big like takeaway, and I'll like to hear what you guys think about this, is that like a lot of these shootings, I think, come down to something like that. And people love to assign ideologies or reasons. And I think that's because if it's an ideology, we feel more like we can deal with that, like we can confront it in the marketplace of ideas. Whereas if it's just like a person who's heartbroken because they got dumped, there's not really any way to deal with that. And just the last thing is just to prove my point here, the guy who shot up the school, Parkland, that Cruz guy, he did his shooting on Valentine's Day because he was heartbroken, and people never talk about that. They say he was a Nazi or that he was bullied or whatever. But so that's part of, I think people don't like to talk about that part because it just makes you feel helpless. I don't know.
Right.
That was a lot, but what do you guys think?
He sounds like a thug. Like I don't know. The guy talking to her sounds like a loser. Like I don't know. They're both losers in my opinion. Because he's like, all right. Like, sir.
Wally's a loser. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say loser, but I mean, it goes both ways. Choose better. If a guy was acting like that, I would not be standing there filming him. Like, I would be in my car on the way to Starbucks to go to like, I would be like, I'm not gonna deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but couldn't you also say guys need to get them a woman who looks at you the way she looks at Wally?
That chick seems crazy. I'm telling you right now, that sex ain't that good enough to be worth that.
Yeah, that's like
she's all beat up mentally. We live in an effed up time, and people are on a vast amount of stress and pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah,
and this chick looks like she's fraying at the ends. Get away from that as
she's
fast
had
as
some
possible.
serious trauma. He shouldn't even be. I just feel like the dynamic from him filming it is like, why are you doing that? Like, she's very tiny. I don't believe that he fears for his life. I just don't believe it. He sounds like a ghetto thug. Like, I feel like he's doing that to her to be like, ha ha ha, some woman wants me, I have sex, look at me. Like, it gives loser energy to sit there and film your girl who loves you crying over that. Like, if you know, I don't know, I might be reaching, but they both seem like losers to me.
No, I think that's fair. And to like post it on the internet and stuff like that. Yeah, I think you have a fair point.
Well, I can also see a guy doing this because you don't know what she's crazy. You don't know whether she's
that's
crazy
the other hand is
own.
she could kill him. That's on the other hand.
Well, no, I don't mean that she's gonna
right.
kill him, but she might do something.
Lorena
stupid.
Bobbitt was tiny. You're right.
Yeah, but I mean, in today's day and age, I could not. Thank God I'm 80 years old and I'm already married. Because if I was a Zoomer today, I'd be recording you chicks all the time.
By the way, Sharika, did you say ghetto fag or ghetto fed or what did you call him?
A ghetto thug. Like, he sounds ghetto.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Then I saw somebody in the chat. Anyway,
Please.
Please what?
Please take me back.
I took you back.
You don't want to be with you and everybody else. I want to be with you. Please take me back. 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 How could you get?
she lunges for the phone.
I never made it to the end. I didn't know she attacked the dude.
Yeah, and I did. Like I said, I trimmed that down too. The whole thing was like longer than that, but.
Shut it down. We don't get it. Shut it down. We don't get it. Shut it down. We don't get it. Shut it down. What do we want? Trans rights. Where do we want it? Now. What do we want? Trans rights. Where do we want it? Now.
I mean, we just live in such an absurd world. What can you even say about that?
I don't understand the trans rights fight, because they have rights. You can go to McDonald's, you can get a job, you can get a car, you can rent a hotel. Like, this is not 1865. Like,
well, these protests, I think, are in response to like the recent legislation that was passed where they said you can't do surgery on children, basically. And there was another one too about drag shows with kids, but they're very sensitive about both. So they have a right to sexually twerk in front of your children, and then if the kid wants to like chop off her tits, then that's also a right. That's a trans right. You know, they get very mad. You talk about taking that away. It's crazy. It's so absurd. All you can do is laugh.
That's
evil
illegal.
is like being revealed more so than it ever has before. Like, within the gender pronoun situation, there's some type of like undercover push for adults to be with children. Because why is there such an obsession with talking to an 8-year-old about who they want to have sex with one day and how they feel about their genitals? Like, those are adult conversations. But anyway, yeah,
it's also just, I think that, you know, a lot of them aren't necessarily pedophiles for real, but they feel like they're doing the right thing by indoctrinating the kids to, it's the same. Like when I was in school, you know, I'm like 40 now. When I was in school, we were taught how bad racism is so bad. And it was like, there was this belief that if they just hammered that into the kids, everybody would grow up and get along. And that didn't really work out. And this is like the same thing. It's kind of tied into gay rights, but, yeah, they just feel like if they get them while they're young, they'll grow up and all the problems will be solved. All you're doing is actually confusing the kids, though.
Adult trans people are generally miserable and depressed. I don't know why they're like pushing this on people. Like, please be like us. And I don't really even have a problem with saying the correct pronouns for trans people. Like, it's whatever. But I just feel like they're pushing this idea of their community as if it's like, we're all happy and driving Bentleys. Like, no, you're all depressed. And the real genocide is that you're so depressed that most of you, well, not most of you, but a high number of you, you know, need antidepressants and medication and anxiety medication, and you're dealing with suicidal thoughts all the time. Why do you keep promoting this as something that's natural and safe for any human being? Like, sure, we could accept you, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to still be mentally ill and dealing with all this intense, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but the left, they just love losers. I think it could be like as simple as that. They love the underdog.
Yeah.
This is also a ritual of humiliation, though. Patently, what some of they're doing is it's illegal, and they don't ever get held accountable for it. These people are indecently exposing their genitals to small children. It's on record. It's on tape.
Yeah.
Nothing's being done about it. And they're being protected. They're being protected in the corporate sphere. They're being protected in the law and order sphere. They're being protected. And you only have this type of protection if it's being used as a weapon. These other countries won't allow this. All right. So you're not going to be doing any of this in China or Russia or in any other place outside of Western civilization. You're not doing any of this. And they are actively making sure that this doesn't blow back into those areas. So they're enacting laws and making sure that their culture is firewalled off from what is happening in this country. And the push, it is so egregious and so in your face. They are clearly trying to get somebody to pop off. They have already painted the narrative that Donald Trump and conservatives are violent felons and thugs and we're terrorists. And they keep shoving these goofballs' genitals into small children's faces in these public spheres, hoping that one of us pops off so then they can reinforce the narrative that they've already dipped us in.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So switching gears here, you know, in California, they're doing reparations for Black people. They proposed $5 million per, I think, Black person in San Francisco. And this guy is here to give his thoughts on that.
I believe that $5 million in reparations is too little for the work that foundational Black Americans have done for this country and as well for other countries. I believe that $7.6 million is a number that can be used very wisely in our foundational Black American communities.
So just he's saying foundational Black Americans, and Sharika and I, before the show started, we were chatting about Tariq Nasheed a little bit. That's like a Tariq Nasheed thing, foundational Black Americans. You can tell this guy's like a Tariq follower because he's using that phrase. But he's done the math and he thinks 5 million, no, 7.6. 7.6 should be the right number.
Ask him like what, you know, he wants to do all that math, but we need to see if what kind of scores he got in math. That's a Pookie. That is a Tyrone. You can hear the ghetto gene coming out in the way he pronounces words. Like, I don't understand why anybody in society takes these type of men seriously, okay? They are sitting around watching porn, talking about bitches and hoes, telling the white man to give me $5 million, but I as a king, I'm a king, we was kings. Like, no, this is a joke, sir. If you give the Black community in the state that it is $5 million each, we will be slaughtered. Okay, you think that there's gang violence and robberies right now over TVs and Jordans in the hood? What do you think they're gonna do to us when they think all of us have a bunch of $1 million in our bank account? Pookie is gonna just slaughter the whole neighborhood, okay? And then go into everybody's phones and cash app himself all the money. That's what's gonna happen. So I don't know what this man is doing, but he is setting his own people up to be robbed, okay? And he knows better. He knows Pookie is dangerous.
You don't think Pookie's just going to chill with his own 5 million?
No, Pookie is going to use that money to rob people because Pookie's stupid. Like, honestly, okay, reparations is not going to make us smart. It's not going to be like, hey, here's $5 million. Now you're like a PhD grad and you're no longer violent and stupid. Nothing's going to change. You're like giving a violent, stupid toddler a bunch of money and expecting him to go and do what? Build a business that, cleans the water? No, he's going to go get bitches and hoes and guns. Sell crack to his granny. That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. And they know it. Sorry if that was too much.
No, that was good.
Label a white supremacist. Careful. Whoa.
Also, still a good idea, and instead of a mule, we would like a tractor. I also believe that we should know the name of all the companies that participated in the slave trade, so we, Foundational Black Americans, can start up our own companies. We should also be allowed to have a choice to learn our mother language other than Spanish or French in our educational classes. We have the Tut language that was started right here in America. During slavery, we have Swahili, Yoruba, Igbo, Zulu, and Hausa. Community colleges and universities should not raise their tuition prices for the next future generations of each Foundational Black American family, and we should be able to change our names to our motherland names totally for free. All types of real estate.
This is insane. I know that people think that it's kind of a meme at this point that San Francisco is just all beat up, and San Francisco. It's not a joke that San Francisco is full of poop. I know I make that joke all of the time, but when you get off the BART you get off that BART train, you can smell it. As you head into San Francisco, you can smell it. This place is so effed up at such a rudimentary level that it is beyond anybody's wildest dreams that they're going to just hand out millions and millions and millions. This is going to run up to billions of dollars. They can't get poop off the sidewalk. There's hypodermic needles all over the place. Businesses are fleeing. This guy right here, I hope he has the best, and I hoping that he's just hoodwinked by this nonsense. The people who are perpetrating this don't care about black people. They're not black people. You're not going to get any money in San Francisco. This is meant to fracture society even more. And what they're trying to do is push. This is they do this in California, New York all the time. They start with stupid stuff like this and they want to make it national. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to paint this narrative that anybody who's against reparations at a state level or a federal level is a racist. This is dumb and this is stupid, and it's meant to drive a further wedge into race relations in this country. So we're focused on hating each other based on skin color and not noticing that our dollar is being destroyed.
Yeah. The inflation is is so bad to do like this $1 trillion thing would be absolutely ludicrous. But I do have to kind of hand it to the guy. Like if they were talking about giving $5 million to all white people, I could see myself going down and being like, hey, can you do 7? Can you do 8? And if you aim higher, then you're more likely to get the first amount too. So you got to kind of respect the hustle a little bit.
Should not go up in price, but it is our land that was supposed to be for us. But as we all know, it was never given.
Oh, America wants my data. China wants my data. Russia probably wants my data, but no one wants to data me.
Women are funny.
Women are scary.
Okay. So this is important to appreciate this clip, is that we're celebrating Women's History Month. This is on ESPN. You guys can't see it because my face is covering it on the stream, but this is ESPN. Okay, Women's History Month.
In 2022, swimmer Leah Thomas became the first transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I championship by winning the 500 freestyle. The Texas native competed for 3 seasons on the men's swim team at the University of Pennsylvania. She began her transition after her sophomore season.
Hey guys!
it kind of ties into the Bud Light thing that I was saying earlier. Like, it's just like the propaganda is everywhere. You know what I mean? You just can't get away from it. Like ESPN, the sports network, you're supposed to be about sports. Shouldn't have to be questioning whether or not a man who competes against women in swimming should be celebrated as part of Women's History Month. You know? Yeah.
I don't even know anymore. It's so disheartening because trans women wouldn't even be existing if they couldn't look at a woman and try to figure out how to be, how to act, you know, what we like to do. And, you know, I honestly was down for the trans movement up until about a year ago, because now it's just gotten to a place where, in my opinion, these are men that just want to compete with women. Like, I don't understand, you know, why, like, we were already accepting you. You know, it was already this acceptance of them. But now it's like, now you want to force a bunch of people who are busy trying to pay bills to know exactly what pronoun you've preferred to be called, even though they've never met you or seen you a day before in their life. And that's just insanity. And to me, it's just like a bunch of men who are just trying to control women and what we do. And they're mad. They're mad because they don't have real
Anonymous
vaginas.
sent $10.
You know what I mean?
Everyone needs
so
to
they're
watch
doing all this
Europa.
weird
The
stuff. They're
last
going
battle.
online and
Everyone
claiming they
needs
have
to watch
periods.
Europa.
They don't have
The last
periods.
battle.
They're just saying that because they know that it makes women upset. Like, that's really what's going on. And now they're doing the sports, because you'll never see a trans man, a female to male, try to be a football player and sign up to play with full biological men. They know better. A 5'4" female to trans man is not going to go sign up for the NFL or the NBA.
It's a real dilemma because there's no like biological empirical marker for what makes somebody trans. It's all based on what somebody says. So you have no way of knowing what is actually motivating them, why they're doing this. You just have to take their word for it that it's all based on feelings. It's even if you try to be compassionate and understanding about it, you have to also have some level of skepticism when you're talking about people trying to like access, you know, men going into women's prisons and stuff like that. Like, where does it end, you know?
It's me, Alex. I'm with my wife and her boyfriend, Dontarius. We just found out we're pregnant. Dontarius is the father, and we're here to do the gender reveal. So, twist it, honey. What is purple? That means the baby's non-binary!
I'm not even sure why this clip is in here. I don't think I meant to include it, but you know, shout out Alex Stein.
For a second, and then I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, no, that's Alex Stein.
I think he's recasted Dontarius. What's going on over here? Or I'm a horrible racist. I'm not quite sure. One of the, but that doesn't seem like
you're
the
gonna
same
end up
dude.
a baby daddy if you.
Oh my God. Do you think this guy, Nick Avocado, do you think that he is really like creative, like evil genius who is like, you know, what would be really fucked up is if I sat in a room surrounded by food to the point where I needed like a grabber and then I filmed that, like that would be like so visually like disturbing. Or do you think he just like naturally does this where he just finds himself surrounded by food and is like, I need a way to reach across? Is it like just sort of authentic and organic, or is it all part of his like evil mastermind for content creation?
I think it's a little bit of both, because if you zoom in on this video, you'll see that the chicken on the plate is actually moldy. Like, it's moldy.
That's so gross.
So that's
that all he does
in there for a long time.
Yeah, you don't know Nick Avocado?
No, I've never seen anything like this before. It's given.
Yeah, this is what he does, and he does this on YouTube, and he's got like millions of views, and he's monetized, of course. You know, I think you're demonetized on YouTube, aren't you, Salty? I know I am.
Oh yeah, no, they
There's 4
demonetized
different
us
channels.
Yeah, so this is the kind of
He's got
content.
4 channels of this.
This is the content YouTube wants you to put out. This is the advertiser-friendly, family-friendly stuff.
He's committing suicide very, very
Yes.
slowly for
Yes.
everybody, and YouTube's like, here's some money for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, no, I've never. Oh man, no, I'm good. Oh god.
Yeah, no, there's good stuff. He's gay too, and so sometimes he has like his gay lover who's also fat and naked, and they eat together. So he has OnlyFans too, by the way. I've never gone down that rabbit hole.
On the floor so you can see the mold. I swear to God, it's moldy.
Sharika, what possessed you, just out of curiosity, when you're watching this video? What made you say, you know what I need to do is zoom in and really analyze this?
I don't know. I just wanted to see if that was chicken, and it's moldy.
So now he's just putting everything in a blender there with some ranch dressing.
Ew. I think he's like a fetish. I think fat people get off on like watching him.
Yeah, I think it's like a suicide fetish. Like you want the people like just like the fact that he's killing himself, you know? It's pretty sick. Sick stuff.
That's so bad. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta check out some more of his videos, Salty. You've been missing out.
Trans people in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans allies in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans women, if they lock you up for identifying.
She said, trans people of Tennessee, it's time to fight. So Tennessee is where they passed the law outlawing the gender affirming care for children. Of course, Nashville is in Tennessee. This is where the shooting happened. This video was put out before the shooting happened. So people found this afterwards and were like, you know, this is the kind of rhetoric that you're seeing from these far leftoids. They're so like sure of their own righteousness that they tend to be a lot more extreme in their rhetoric than you see from right-wing people who will know that they'll get banned and have to like secretly dog whistle everything they want to say. The far left people just come out and say it. They're like, we need to kill these people.
As a woman, fight, resist. You're gonna die anyways. We're going to die anyways. It's time to fucking resist. Fight them. Hurt them. If they put their hands on you, beat them.
Why are you nervous?
I've never met anyone
It's my first time sitting across from a demonic entity.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I can smell your balls. Essay? What do you mean? Why am I nervous? What's that smell? This is child abuse, man.
Yeah, and it's like you were saying, it's like this weird obsession they have with it's being around kids. We gotta let's film the kids, get the kids, always with the kids.
I can't really explain.
Have been on their feet for about the last 40 minutes with the teams announced their opening day lineups and their entire rosters and the World Series trophies.
Please tell me she throws that ball to second base.
Megan Thee Stallion is being told the pitch clock, which is something that we're going to see this year, is now running. She was practicing beneath the stadium just a few minutes ago and was throwing strikes. So
he says she was throwing strikes when she's practicing. When I watched this the first time, I was sitting here like praying, like, please do not throw a strike. Not because I want her to be humiliated or whatever, just because it would feel like emasculating to me, because there's no way I would throw a strike like with one shot in front of the crowd. I know I would fuck it up. So I was like, man, is this chick really going to throw like a sweet pitch? Let's see what happens here.
Here we go.
That's
She gets set to throw.
Yeah.
Still better than Valjean.
With that, we are underway and set for the first pitch.
And then this, of course,
on her booty.
Yeah, this picture was doing the rounds on Twitter. Everybody was having a laugh about this. He knows what he did there.
We get set for opening night baseball here in Houston. A special thanks to Carl Weathers for voicing our.
I'm literally shaking
They
right now
must be
because I just
dating
had a.
because he felt very comfortable to rest his hand upon the softness.
She looked a little bit kind of like if you watch the clip, if you watch her face, she looked a little bit like she wasn't too happy about that.
Oh,
but it could
okay.
just be me. It's hard to tell for sure, but she looked a little bit like frazzled by that. All right, this is a clip that everybody has strong opinions on, so I'd like to hear what you guys think about this one.
A man approached me in a parking lot and it went fine, and I'm going to tell you why it went fine and how to address it, because it was in a book I read and this is how you're supposed to address it, but it scared me. I'm literally shaking. So this guy, I'm alone with my son by myself, a woman, and a male approached me in a parking lot. He's, "Excuse me, miss," and I don't know why in the hell he was approaching me or what he was trying to do. And before he was probably 30 feet from me when he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, "Do not approach me." And he immediately started going in the other direction. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. I said, "Do not approach me. Do not approach me." And he, of course, got "What the F?" He started cussing and yelling, "What's your problem?" And I looked at him and he actually then crossed a couple cars down from my car. He didn't come anywhere near me. He crossed a couple cars down from my car and was like, continuing to cuss and say, "What's your problem?" And I said, "You do not approach women in a parking lot." I just kept saying, "Do not approach me." And
then everyone started clapping.
Literally.
I mean, personally, I agree with her because there's a lot of gas station lurkers in California, okay? These ghetto crackhead men that will literally follow you from your car into the gas station. They will not take no for an answer. You damn near have to threaten to, mace them to get away from them. So as far as parking lot lurkers and gas station lurkers, I'm on her side. She's a little annoying, but I understand just trying to get to your car so you can go home with your rotisserie chicken and some weird, creepy guy. Hey.
Yeah. What if it's a handsome, suave guy, though? Is that okay?
It's just that the parking lot makes me anxious because
you
just hear about some guy, men will literally get in your car. I know respectful men that don't do that, but I have had at least 2 weird guys get in my car, one at a gas station, one at a Ralph's. So I feel just that element, it just kind of puts us at hold on, it's not so you're gonna approach her, but I feel we're gonna always be a little standoffish because I don't know if you're gonna get in my car and SA me or get in my car and beat me or try to throw me into your car and kidnap me. The parking lots are very, very iffy territory.
Yeah. Salty, do you agree with that or?
I definitely understand where you're coming from. The bigger issue is that we live in a society where we don't arrest people and crazy lunatics are doing this type of stuff. I think this is a great advertisement for why women should be armed up. You should stay strapped, and somebody does something real stupid. She wouldn't be that scared if she had a gun on her.
Yeah.
And there's another video of the same exact woman where she's talking about her husband. She's like, "Why my husband took the kid shopping and all these women went up to him and said how great it was that he was taking them shopping. But how come nobody comes up to me in the store and says that?" So she
really?
doesn't have a problem with
Oh,
people
interesting.
This is she says all of the TikTok buzzwords. I'm literally shooketh. I'm literally shaking. This is a woman who has bought all of the left-wing propaganda and the ideological planks of the left-wing dogmatic lunatics who told her she's a strong and empowering woman, and so we don't need to arrest people in your Democrat-run hellscape. And she's now paying the price for eating up that propaganda. She was told that she needs to disarm herself and she needs to put her hands in the safety of the Democrats running the area, and they've made it to a place where she wore a mask for multiple years and took experimental concoctions so she could live in a world where she's scared out of her mind if somebody comes up to her and says, "Hey, you dropped your purse back there."
Right.
Yeah, I agree like with both of you. I'm a little bit torn about this. That's why I think it's an interesting video. I think that there is something about like I've never approached a woman in a parking lot personally.
Yeah, I would.
I feel like it's probably kind of, when women complain like, oh, don't approach me in the coffee shop, don't approach me in the library or whatever. And there's that kind of thing where guys are like, well, oh, so I'm just not allowed to, I have to do it through the internet or what, which is like a valid complaint from the guys. But I think maybe the parking lot should be off limits. Like leave that space, try to get them when they're in the store or something if you have to.
Yeah, get me in the store. The parking lot just gives off like white van creepy vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know they're going to inject you with something and knock you out or what. So, I get that part. And then as for her technique of like screaming, like don't approach me, that's very like context dependent, I guess. Like I would have to know a lot more details to know whether or not I think that's a good way to do it.
He probably wasn't hot.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, yeah, we can.
Do not approach women in a parking lot, like yelling it. No male.
I agree with what you said, Salty. Like women should be armed and trained and be prepared to defend themselves if they need to.
You should at least have the availability to be armed. In these places, they won't allow women to be armed. They are purposely they put women in this situation with their policies, and then they tell these women, by the way, you can't be armed. In New York City, you can't be armed. Los Angeles, you can't be armed. San Francisco, they're not going to give her a concealed carry permit in any of these Democrat-run places. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't not arrest criminals. You can't create this atmosphere of criminality and then also tell people that, oh, by the way, listen, don't get me wrong. She shouldn't be armed. She's crazy. Like, I don't want that. People are insane in these areas, and the guy was probably 100 yards away from her, and she thinks it's 30 feet. She's probably way off, and she's probably misreading the situation. It's broad daylight, and it's a target. I mean, who knows? But the entire situation that Democrat policies have put us in are really stupid, and I don't want my wife in this situation. But you come up on my wife, she won't blast you and then stab you. So.
Approach a woman in a parking lot ever. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot. And if a male does approach you, you need to turn around and use the strongest voice that you can possibly use with them. Don't be polite. They need to literally screw off. No male should be approaching you in a parking lot.
Something that's been on my heart, and I feel like I have the platform to say it. I need to say it. I just feel it's really sad, all the sexualization of our children right now, and we need to protect them, whatever that may be. Like, protect the children, please. Do anything we can to help.
Nice little based white pill there from Holly Holmes saying stop sexualizing.
It's so crazy.
Although what's weird is it almost sounds like there was some booing. It's kind of hard to tell, but it was a little bit of a weird reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, I'm losing so much faith. That's why I don't, I totally think people should homeschool, because at this point you're taking a huge risk dropping your kid off in a building with people that may or may not give a crap about kid safety. And it's just,
Yeah, no, I agree. We've reached the point where homeschooling is like a necessity,
Yeah.
What is one thing you can tell a white person that'll make them glitch?
The phrase white trash is actually more of a dig at people of color than it is at white people. The specificity of the white part, having to clarify that the trash is in fact white, implies that to be white and to be trash is unusual. It's an anomaly. Have you ever heard the phrase black trash or brown trash? No, because we are thought to inherently be trash.
All right, so I have some thoughts on that, but Salty, do you want to go first? Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, that's just some astounding mental gymnastics of victim mentality.
That's white. I don't know why biracials are allowed to cosplay as full Black Americans, but does she realize that she is white? You know what I mean? Like, you're biracial, you're white and Black, so why are you hating on yourself so hard, sis? Why What are you doing?
You do see that a lot, yeah.
I wish we would let go of this like psychosis that you can have an entire white parent and be black. You have black in you, but you are white. You have what? And they always become the face. Like when Colin Kaepernick became the face of Black Lives Matter, I was like, this is a white man. This is a white. I mean, he's black, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. He's both.
Like,
yeah. Here's my thoughts on this. I think she's kind of half right. Like the phrase white trash is not something that was invented to dig on black people. It has nothing to do with black people, but there is an aspect to it, which is saying like, we white people, we have standards and we have expectations of what we set for how you behave in a white man's, society, how to be civilized, how to be respectable. And if you don't like reach those standards and expectations, then we have this denigrating term we're going to use to try to like shame you into doing better. And
shame is great.
Yeah.
I love shame. Shame those trashy ghetto people.
Yeah.
Shame the out of them.
Chris Rock had like a similar thing for black people, like that old Chris Rock bit where he's like, there's black people and then there's N-words. I'm not going to say it, but that was kind of the same idea, but him doing it for black people, it didn't really take, I don't think that whole ideology, but like to me, yeah, I think shame and pride is like the reverse side of shame. And when it comes to like being proud of your skin color, that's a very like unpopular idea, especially if you're white. And people like to say things like, well, it's stupid to be proud of something that you didn't do. You didn't pick your skin color, whatever. So this is like an argument people make, like, that's stupid. I don't really like that argument because like people understand, like if your dad was like a Marine who saved a bunch of children from a burning building or something, you'd be like, oh, I'm proud of my dad. That's my dad. Or if your brother did that or something. The reason you're proud is because you have a connection to them and what they do reflects on you. And I think for a nation, for a group of people, there's the same thing to a degree. I'm not saying you should go crazy with it and be a skinhead Nazi or whatever, but there's when you have a pride in a group pride, it creates those standards and those expectations where you say, here's how you should behave to be part of the group and to be proud. And so that's it. That's my 2 cents on that. It's kind of a lot, but just, it made me think all that when I watched that clip. Do you guys want to respond or should we just keep going?
Yeah, I'm totally okay with shaming trashy people. Me personally, with the girl that just spoke, I don't really like, she said what she said, but for me, I just feel like all black people are trying to do on the left, they're trying to find any reason to get away with being violent, being, low achieving, not very high earners, like all this degenerate, low ambitious stuff. They're doing everything they can to try to make that acceptable. And it's like constantly trying to shame anything a white person says or does. Breathing is racist. Sleeping in is racist. Eating breakfast is racist. Anything that's like a basic, let's have a nice life, be a nice person. They're trying to find a way to like get away with that. And like being black means you speak in Ebonics and wave a 3-inch grillon nail in everybody's face and have a bunch of baby daddies. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like I'm just sick of it. So I don't like creators like that. I stay away from liberal blacks and women who speak like that. Because first of all, she's delusional. She's literally half white and she's talking about like white people like they're so evil. Girl, you wouldn't exist if a white person didn't have sex with your other half. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? They can't be that evil or you wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
That's ungrateful.
Something that people are not ready to hear.
Sorry.
White women are the biggest hindrance to moving racial equality forward because we have more influence over the raising of our children than anybody else, and white supremacy grows in our homes. And we are the ones teaching our children if only they would behave this way, speak this way, or dress this way, maybe they would have equality. And I will not argue this with anyone.
See that again, that ties into what I was saying earlier about how there's this mentality of, oh, if we can just get the kids trained up right, get them indoctrinated right to believe these things, then everything is going to work out. But they've been doing this for like 40 years now. It hasn't exactly worked out that great. Yeah, these self-hating liberal white women, you know.
And the Black women, like, I know it's very comfortable for white people to feel like they want to tiptoe around certain conversations because you're afraid of being called racist, but you don't have to feel that way with me, okay? It is not just the white liberals. It is the ghetto Black culture people who are obsessed with white people and obsessed with every little thing you do and obsessed with being a victim, okay? They literally train their children to speak Ebonics and hate white people. And that's a real problem. And I want white people to find a way to stop feeling bad for saying what that is. Because it's not racist to say Pookie makes you uncomfortable. He makes everybody uncomfortable. He's walking around smelling like crack and weed with a gun. Like, everybody feels uncomfortable around those type of people. And we need to get to a place where we can just be honest, because if we're not going to be honest, these people are going to be in control. They're going to be in control. They're going to continue to rise. We have to shame them. You know, it's not just white liberals and the Democrat Party that's hurting Blacks. We are hurting each other. We are teaching our children how to mispronounce words wrong on purpose, and then wondering why we suffer in employment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you taught your child to say that and dare, and you don't understand that that's affected him from being employable. And it's happened for generations. It's not white supremacy hurting us anymore in 2023. It's not. We are hurting us. We are making people upset. We are causing racism against us because we film each other doing ratchet ghetto stuff every single day. That's where we're at.
Very true. Very true. Very base too. So you guys were wondering why, who's this Sharika person? Why is she on here? Now you know. Now you know. There's the base.
I take away all these excellent books. It's like you're trying to slow down children's reading. Why do that? I had to help take away a lot of the books.
They're having the family volunteers come and like take out so that they can review the books.
I noticed that a lot of the Black History books are being pulled.
Yes.
They've pulled like all the like award-winning books.
Yeah.
And you can look at a shelf and they've left us with Junie B. Jones, which personally is a second grade level book for me. I don't know if we have any LGBTQ books in our thing.
This is insane. This is the same old Nazi tactic. You take small children, and I feel so bad for these kids. They're being so misused and maligned by their single moms, and they're being thrown in our direction. And we're supposed to stand down, and we're supposed to disarm ourselves, and we're trying to pull child porn out of elementary schools. And they use these children as a vanguard of feelings to try and stop us. And we have to, Sharika, I love it. You got to shame these idiots and say, listen, not only are you an atrocious piece of trash, but using children like this makes you a Nazi.
Amen.
Yeah, they try to frame this video of like, oh, we just want to read. You got a problem with kids reading? You don't think kids should read books? But then it's like they can't even like hold that frame because they just have to be like, well, they took the Black History books, they took the LGBTQ books, and it's like, oh, you're just an NPC regurgitating the talking points that you've been told by the adults. Kids aren't supposed to care about that stuff. When I was that age, I wasn't going around being like, whoa, it's weird how there's no LGBT books in the library. It's like you're 7. You should be reading like about Greek mythology or I don't know, something.
That's the age where they still play with dolls and they want to, play dress up. Like they're not thinking about some book that she's not thinking about that in real life. That is parents talking to them and making them think that that's something important. It's like, you want to be an actor? Here.
If we did, they would be taking them away. Now, we really can't find one that we like because either we've read it a million times or it's just too easy for us.
They get rid of like 5 books and then the kids are like, we ran out of books to read. Come on.
Why do people not understand that you can't be racist
to white people. It's impossible. The system is not set up that way. You can insult white people, but it is not racism. Me calling a white person a tub of mayonnaise and like flower looking ass, that's not racist. It might hurt their feelings.
It is.
Because if I have to like
that's
just
why I
say
don't
like
believe in racism anymore. Because at this point, I truly believe it's just people with hurt feelings. You know, the N-word does not cause me to have a heart attack and an aneurysm and die. It's really just a word. Plus, it's a word that our race uses against each other. So I hate people like that. Like, I do think that racism exists or whatever, but I don't think it's malicious like it was in 1865. I think a 16-year-old getting on the internet and saying the N-word to me, yeah, it might bother me, but did it really stop me from paying my rent? No, it didn't. I still paid my rent, you know? Like, it's just a mean word.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like,
should we say it? Should we just get it out of our system? No, I'm just joking.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like there's some type of MLK syndrome that modern Black people are stuck in, where we believe that this is 1942 and we're fighting the fight of MLK. And it's like, dude, there's no Jim Crow laws. You know, we have full civil rights. Like, there's nothing that for us to fight against. And if somebody is mean to us, you're not special. White people are mean to white people too. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Do you think, Sharika, that because Black people aren't doing, this is what I think, because they're not doing as good as white people in terms of like, you know, income, employment, those types of things, that people want there to be some explanation for that, and so they turn to racism and say, well, there must be people holding the Black people down because they think that everybody is the same, everybody's equal, and so everybody should be doing the same.
yeah, I think it is. I think it's, like I say, like this leftover MLK syndrome where the boomers that were on the left, or whatever you want to call it, kind of indoctrinated their children to think that Black people still needed rescuing like they did back in the 40s and 30s, and, you know, and so on, you know. But it's like, hello, we have entered a self-realized state now. We don't need anybody to go out in the street and fight like MLK did or whatever. Like, that's over. Nobody's saying you have to drink out of a Black only water fountain. You're free. Why are you so depressed and still acting like somebody being mean to you is the same as what MLK was going through? Because that is clearly not what has happened. So I feel like it's some sort of weird syndrome. Like, I wish somebody would come up with a word for it, because it is a psychosis and it does affect their lives to constantly believe that you're in a different time zone, time frame than you really are. Like, they really act like this is 1941. Black power, we have to fight. We fight for the president. We're gonna fight the Trump. We're gonna fight. Meanwhile, they're sitting on, you know, the internet watching porn of white women. Like, this is ridiculous. They are not oppressed.
Wow, called out.
Holy balls.
Yep.
like a nationality or like have my own status, I would just say, okay, I'm Irish, or I'm Tanzanian, or I'm Congolese. But right now, I would call myself Irish. So yeah, I'm Irish. Yes.
So this video is from the Muslim, the Dublin Museum. And I just think like, look, if you were born in Ireland and like grew up in like an Irish school, and if that guy had like an Irish accent, you know what I mean? That would help a little. I'd be like, okay, sure. But it's like you're from Tanzania or whatever. You got this like thick African accent. I don't know, man. I don't know. You don't seem Irish to me.
Nigerian scammer.
I want to say thank you, but I looked at your profile and I see, you know, you're super conservative. You got your American flag and stuff all in your content and stuff, and it's just very Blue Lives Matter-ish. And I just want to say, like, honestly, like, even if you were being genuine, okay, that's fine, but I feel very uncomfortable when white people comment on my physical attributes or something about me like my hair or my skin or my teeth, because 150 years ago, probably not even that long ago, your Meemaw or Pawpaw would have seen my hair and put it in a couch cushion. Or they would have seen my beautiful skin and they would have made it into some shoes or a jacket. So I feel very uncomfortable when white people compliment specific attributes, especially my hair, because a lot of y'all be wanting to pet me and touch my hair. Yes, I can
Girl,
take a
nobody wanna
compliment,
pet
by the way.
you. You're ugly. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Those persons just really just try to be nice the way you kind of, I don't know. This is like an internet thing where you tell people who are very mid that, oh, you look so good. You're so pretty. It's interesting. She started off saying like, oh, you're conservative. You got your American flag. But then it just immediately went to like white people. I don't like when white people do this. I don't like when white people, it's just like you were saying, Sharika, like she's talking about, 100 years ago, your grandparents would have like put me in the couch or whatever crazy stuff she was saying. It's like, what are you talking about?
And she doesn't
Just
even
take the
know. There's plenty
compliment.
of white people that died freeing the slaves. Like the fact that it's even legal, to just blame all white people for racism and white supremacy when a good portion of them died, and dedicated their lives and went through stuff with us. I mean, even in the slavery times, Harriet Tubman was hiding slaves under white people's houses. She called them Quakers. So I don't even know why it's acceptable to paint all white people the same when we don't want to be painted the same. But this is like a mental illness. Like that's a mammy. That's a mammy. That's a mule. Her only purpose is to hate white people and stick up for black men who would never, ever, ever sleep with her. They will pick a light-skinned girl over her any day, but she will get on the internet, okay, and tell the whole world it is the white man. It is white supremacy that's done her wrong. She know exactly who.
But it just,
From the White House. So we're at 8:00, and Salty, I know you said you only had like an hour, but I really wanted to get to this Joe Biden clip here. This is the one that really, this is like the clip of the week for me. This is crazy. So I want to hear what you have to say about this, Salty.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream.
Okay, so again, in case anybody hasn't seen this or is confused about the context, this is Joe Biden. He just heard that there was this shooting at this Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's come down to address the nation. And it's so surreal. It's so absurd. Like, it's one thing for him to be goofy about it. Why are these people all laughing? You know what I mean? This is just totally the wrong mood. What is going on here?
They're all insane. These are all pedophiles, and they're all insane. He later on says that he wants to invite all the kids over upstairs for ice cream. And this is against the backdrop of 6 people being hunted down in a Christian school, specifically targeted by somebody that the entire situation revolves around that person's sexual orientation. They murdered 3 children in this school. And then goes on to say that the only way to fix this is to take my guns, to take law-abiding citizens' guns. These people are monstrous, evil entities. I doubt that they're even from our realm. They operate at such a crazy, ridiculous level that they will sit there and tell you that it's our fault because it's our fault that mass shootings happen because of a transgender person losing their mind. And then the only solution is that we got to give up our guns, and then makes jokes about it with ice cream in front of all these heckling hyenas. These people are all madmen, and they're pushing us into just very, very uncharted, dangerous territory.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think that's a pretty, I don't know how else it sounds extreme to say, oh, they're just a bunch of crazy pedophiles, but it's such a weird thing. It's such a weird video. Just to like contrast it, I went and pulled the clip of Trump addressing the nation after there was 2 shootings like the same weekend. It was like El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. This was in 2018, I think, or 19.
Good morning. My fellow Americans, this morning, our nation is overcome with shock, horror, and sorrow.
We don't have to play a lot of that video, but just to contrast, like that's how you do it. Okay. You come out, you're somber, and you just, you say, this is terrible. And yeah.
Boy, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding?
That's
I'm
crazy.
not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin.
He knows, and the people in that audience, they all know that these, whether this is a legitimate tragedy or it's a manufactured tragedy, these people all know that the end benefits them. And so even if it's a flaming left-wing lunatic shooting up a school of Christians, they could bend and contort this to get to their means, and their means is to disarm us. If you think that I'm going to disarm because a bunch of goofballs over here who are laughing about children, laughing about ice cream against, again, the backdrop of 6 dead people, 3 dead children in a Christian school, you're out of your mind. These are evil, evil, evil people, and they only want to disarm us because they're going to do evil, evil things to us.
Right.
True. Real.
Folks,
So here, and you get to hear the Fox News commentator, and they're just like shocked too. They're just like, "What is going on?" I love the reaction here we get.
I feel like he's
a
in
light to have
full-blown dementia, and they're hiding it a little bit because he just.
Well, yeah,
doesn't
he's obviously like not all there. But so again, it's like I can accept like Joe being out to lunch, but the whole, it's just so weird. They're laughing like it's like. Yeah. It's just totally like you're watching something different than what you're actually watching.
all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all 4 of them? Well, stand up, guys.
John, we'll jump back in here. As considering the moment.
We were
there's a
told
school
that the
shooting that just happened left 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, shooters dead, and we were told he would be addressing this off the top.
Yeah, it's rather surprising. I thought that a somber President Biden would have come to the podium here and addressed the school shooting.
Very strange. We're almost done. We got. Let me. How do I see the time here? Wait, there it is. There's about 2 minutes left worth of clips. You good to power through, Salty? You gonna stick it out with us?
Yeah, go for it.
Nice.
We gon' fuck her in the back of the bus.
Look who it
Fill her
is.
nose up full of dust.
That's Sharika's TikTok. It says, a lot of black people do not like each other nor treat each other well in public, but somehow expect other races to see our value. Damn. By the way, I didn't.
And I chose the audio for a reason. Because
Yeah, the audio is like hip hop, right? It's like rap.
yeah. And like the way he's talking about the women and, running trains on them and everything. And like, that's it. Like, how do you expect anybody to think that we are an esteemed, gentle group of people when our leaders are gangbanging and, prostituting women for fun? Like, I don't understand why it's not dawning on us that our culture isn't about respect. There's nothing to respect in our culture. Nobody should respect how we treat each other as Black people. Nobody should respect hip hop culture. I respect a man that goes to school, gets a job, and takes care of his family. Anybody can be a monkey with a microphone jumping on the stage screaming, bitch, 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 nigga, nigga, nigga. I'm not, like, that's our best. That's the best. And that's the best we can do. That's the hierarchy in our race. No, I don't wish it's very obvious why people aren't clamoring to give us Nobel Peace Prizes. There's nothing great about hip hop. There's nothing great about it. I'm over it. And it's so bad that good Black people, civil Black people, people that do accomplish things, nobody even talks about us or even considers that we exist because the dominant factor in my race is ghetto trash. And even success has this level of ghetto trash in it. Look at Lizzo. that's ghetto trash to be
No.
walking around with your thong out and doing all that stuff. Like, you have 13-year-old fans. For real, girl. Sorry, I'm ranting. But yeah, I don't respect Black culture, and I'm a Black woman. I don't think there's anything about it to respect. And until we become really honest about why racism has continued, which is, it's our fault, okay? It's going to continue. Everybody, it's just going to be a war of blaming white people until we die, like our ancestors. That's all they did.
As a white person, I'm not legally allowed to comment on any of that. So
Welkom bij Gewoon Bloot.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Gewoon Bloot gaan volwassen mensen
You guys see
geheel uit
this
de
one?
kleren, zodat wij er wat van kunnen leren. Deze kinderen uit groep 7 en 8 mogen aan hen alles vragen over hun blote lichaam. En vandaag hebben we als gasten transgenders. Het gaat echt om het gevoel wat je van binnen hebt.
Oh, no.
yeah, so this is a show where they get naked in front of 12-year-old children. And this is in Denmark, I believe. They got a bunch of transgendered people to get naked in front of the kids. Let me actually make the video there full screen so people can see the subtitles better.
No, minimize
Dat kan je
this.
gewoon hebben. Daar kan je mee doen, zoals ik ook een operatie heb gedaan. Maar je kan ook transgender zijn en geen operaties ondergaan. Zie heb ik wel wat in mijn broek, maar ik heb nog steeds een vulva.
Yeah, I cut it short because it's a little bit dicey having that kind of thing on YouTube, but
I got into an argument with Rosie O'Donnell on TikTok. I hate her face.
yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that show, Salty? What do you think about a TV show where you get naked in front of kids?
I hesitate to. I grew up in this country, and we've got these Europeans would say that we've got kind of a backward understanding of the human body, but screw you Europeans. Sorry. You are purposely confusing small children by showing them these Frankenstein husks all cut up and mutilated on that stage. You're trying to normalize that, and you're showing it to small children. That's
and then filming that and putting it out. The whole thing is like bizarre. Like none of it seems necessary. You know why?
No.
Why not just make a TV show that is like fun to watch? I don't know.
Because it's a push. It's the soft push to normalize children being with adults by any means necessary. Yeah. Put it on a TV show. We'll make a TV show out of it. We can get around it by doing that. I just feel like everything is an inch. Like they're maneuvering and snaking in there.
Yeah. And there was like in the UK a few months ago, there was a trans woman who pulled her pecker out live on public television. And it kind of reminded me of what you were saying, Salty, about how like they can get away with things. Trans people can get away with things that normal people can't. They just get away with it. There's actually like a Family Guy joke where there's like a woman at a bar and the bartender is like, excuse me, you can't look at porn here. And then the woman goes, oh, it's okay, I'm transgender. And then the bartender says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Do whatever you want all the time. It's like, it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Stone Toss does that too. You'll be like, some lunatic showing the open up the trench coat, show their junk to small children. And the cops go to arrest him, and then he covers himself with the rainbow flag, and the cops are like, "Oh,
yeah,
can't see him." Yeah, no, these people. That's crazy
exactly
thing.
Right. They act like they do not see child predators within the LGBT.
Yeah, that's outright protection at such a level that it only makes sense to me that it's a weapon. Like that's a crime. That's public indecency. That's criminal exposure. That's a crime. You're a sexual predator. And they're like, well, no, this is rainbow. Well, you know what? I'm not a big fan of rainbows then anymore. This is insane.
Yeah, and then the police don't do anything, and it normalizes it. Is every time you get away with it, you make it a little bit easier to do stuff like that.
Right.
It's really, and it's like you were saying too, how they just want to keep pushing and pushing until somebody goes crazy and snaps. So it's a miracle it doesn't happen more often, to be honest.
Is should you do a
It
TikTok
does
when you're
happen
sad?
in the hood, but they don't like to cover black on black crime. But
Right.
black men kill black trans women a
Yeah,
lot.
that's true.
Yeah.
So Rosie here, she's responding to the shooting, and she says the question is, should you make a TikTok when you're sad? And that's fair enough. You could also ask, should you make a TikTok when you have a herpes outbreak? And that's another question you could be asking, Rosie. Just some food for thought. I don't know.
That's been generous. I think it's monkeypox.
You know, I've been fighting with myself trying to figure out how to talk about this Nashville school shooting, but I can't. I don't have the words.
At least she's somber. You know, Joe Biden could actually take some notes from Rosie for what it's worth.
Assault weapons now.
Yeah.
It's the only sentence that we should say back to people who say they have a right to weapons of war. Sorry. Ban assault weapons now.
Well, that's the end. That's the last clip. Yeah, you know, for what it's worth, I know they like to bring up the Dylan Roof thing in context of this because they say, oh, no one claimed it was a war on Christians when Dylan Roof shot up the black church. And it's like, well, for one thing, Dylan Roof told everybody what he was doing, so it wasn't very confusing. We all understood what he was doing. But the other point about that I wanted to mention is he used handguns when he did that, and he killed like a bunch of people. I'm not saying that therefore assault weapons aren't better or whatever. I'm not saying that, but it's just, I don't know. This kind of, it won't end with assault weapons if you ban assault weapons. That's something you have to keep in mind.
I mean, I don't know why they bring up Dylan Roof, because there was a black guy in like 2000. Hold on, I'm scrolling as fast as I can so I can get to the photo. But he killed like 5 white men. He was purposely going to a place where they would jog, like this in a nice like white neighborhood, and he was killing them. And he even admitted that he had killed all 5 of these men because they were white. So there's been a lot of black serial killers that have killed multiple white people more than the other way around in the modern world. And I don't know why the media never talks about it. I mean, I do know why, but that is real. Like black men, there's several stories out there where black men have killed over 4 white people based on them just being white. So, I mean, I'm not saying what Dylan Roof did is okay. Obviously, it's not okay. But I just hate when we try to act like we haven't done heinous crimes to Americans as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they really like legitimately don't hear about those stories because they do get way less coverage. Well, look, you guys, I want to respect Salty's time here. I know he's got stuff to do, and I'm so like grateful that you came to hang out today. Shout out to the Salty Army, the Hive. We have like almost 1,300 people watching on YouTube, which is a lot for my channel. So I know that's because of Salty. I know why you guys are here. So I want to say thank you. And I'd like to give you guys a chance to do like a final plug or just final thoughts, whatever you want to say. Sharika, why don't you go first?
Well, thanks so much for having me. I don't have anything to plug. Just follow me on Twitter. I don't really deal with TikTok as much anymore. And I appreciate you all for giving me allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You know what? I totally forgot about super chats. There's not a lot. There's a couple here, so let's just rip through these two. We got show. So often I don't get super chats. I don't think about it, but we got show Sugino sent $5 and said salty is legion. Thank you for that $5. We got Neeb. Oh, my old friend Neeb sent $5 and said, these transformers are chomos or chomo protectors. A chomo, I think that's like another word for pedophile, if I'm not mistaken.
Child molester.
And then let me check on the power chat real quick. Anonymous sent $10. He has a documentary, a recommendation, but thank you for the $10, Anonymous. And Spaldo sent $15, says, based panel tonight. Thanks, LP. We're doomed. Somebody sent $3 and asked if I've ever played BioShock, which I'm not sure why they would ask me that. And on Odyssey, we got $10 from Lizzie Longtoes, who says she's on something. Maybe she has Stockholm's. I think that might be in reference to the ex who was freaking out, Wally's ex. All right. Well, thank you very much for the super chats. And Salty, final thoughts, plugs.
Yeah, I don't have anything to plug. I was just happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate it. I did put links in the description there for both Sharika and Salty. If you guys, if they're new to you and you want to follow their channels, you can find the links in the description. And I wanted to plug tomorrow. I'm doing a debate with Bryson Gray on the Kill stream, and the topic of that is going to be about black on white violence. So that's tomorrow at 5:00 on the Kill stream. And also my locals, ihypocrite.locals.com is a great place to stay up to date on all things iHypocrite and get notifications for all the streaming stuff that I'm doing. All right, guys, that's it. That's the show. Thank you so much to my guests. Thank you to the audience, the supporters, everybody. You've been great. And we'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace out.